Hello again, and welcome to this first part of the portfolio, where we're going to explore a bit more about the animal on a more personal level and on the relationships that one may entertain with this animal. I will be starting by talking about the personal relationships that I entertain, and I would say this portfolio is going to be very personal. I grew up in Africa. I grew up around Zimbabwe and Kenya, and I grew up surrounded by elephants and elephant items, I would say. Obviously, I went out to see them at least like 3 times a year. I went on safaris. I've ridden them once or twice or thrice maybe, and there were around my home. We had like ivory pieces, we had wooden carved elephants, wooden sculptures as well, crafts made out of dried elephant dung, such as boxes, and I remember book covers being that way as well. I had elephant plushies. I watched movies with elephants in them. I have pictures around my home of myself with elephants either on the background or behind me. It would be pretty close. I was pretty much always around elephants or elephant items, and I hadn't ever really noticed actually before I started working on this portfolio. I would say that they had an important role that I never knew about. They were everywhere, but invisible at the same time. I didn't notice them at all. Even in the cultural aspects of this relationship, I was in a very privileged environment, I would say. I was the child of a diplomat in Africa. We had maids and gardeners, and I was subjected to like 2 poles of culture, like regarding the elephant. On the one hand, my parents were very in awe of this animal and came from a privileged place where we could afford to go see them, to go on safaris, to donate to elephant orphanages, and build a type of relationship with these animals that the local people who have had a very long history with this animal have not had the chance to build. The elephant in local culture is a bit more subtle, though they're very present. It's in the proverbs that I was told, the stories, the nursery rhymes of the local culture. In totemic tribes, quite a few of them had the elephant as a totem, and it was in brands, in the t-shirts: strong like an elephant, wise like an elephant, you remember things like an elephant. The elephant was very present, but not in the same way. And I think I was very lucky to have been able to experience those different ways in which the elephant and human relationships can happen. Of course, there are economic and political and social aspects to this. When populations live in close proximity to an animal, especially one as big and strong as the elephant, socio-economic impacts and conflicts will arise. There have been plenty of them, between poaching, between elephants having less territory and invading, quote unquote, that of the humans, between the tourism and the ups and downs of the economy that follow the attraction that are the animals. I would say it's a very complex situation to be in, because I care a lot about elephants, but I also care a lot about how humans are impacted by them, which is a pretty normal response, but one that I haven't thought about as clearly before this course. I can take away from this introduction that I want to answer the following questions, and that is, an animal being so present in and constant in African culture, what is its significance? What is its place, its role? What are the symbols attached to that animal? I do want to answer to those. I would also love to know what studies have already been done. I did think that the post-colonial and colonial history affected a lot of these questions, the answers to these questions, and I would like to know the exact impact of that history on present information, as well as position myself in relation to this animal a bit more clearly, knowing how my backstory affects my views, my interest, what is my position, and what is my bias. So all of these questions will be written out under this video, but that will be all for this section, and I invite you to go ahead and switch to the second section, where we'll be taking a more academic approach to these questions. Thank you for listening, and I will not hold you here any longer. Goodbye.